Now, what do you do when a person fails? When a person proclaims the Christian faith and they fail? You have to look at that and say something. You have to say, when they make all these claims and then it doesn't prove to be exemplified in their life and consistently and not continuously exemplified in their life, but actually continually something totally different that he was hiding. Well, when a person says that they believe that Jesus Christ is the one that washes us and cleanses us from our sin, and Jesus is the one that comes and transforms us and brings us completely new life, and Jesus works in us by his wonderful grace to lead us in triumph and victory over sin, and then you find that that same individual was living in sin, they were not living in triumph, they were living in ongoing compromise, you have to say one of two things. Either what they believed was not true. God can't do that. He can't rescue you. He can't deliver you. He doesn't make you new. He doesn't transform you. There is just a psychological trick, and there's just some positive affirmation that you're stating to yourself, but there's no real true power in enabling you to live over sin. You either have to conclude that, or you have to conclude, oh, he didn't really believe it. He didn't really believe it. He professed it. He stated it. He plastered his life on the surface of it. But he wasn't yielded to it. He had a form of godliness, but he denied the power thereof. What's it going to be? We don't want to say that because it sounds ungracious. We'll leave ultimately to God, but that ought to be the fearful thing. Let me give you some conclusions here. Where does this leave us again when a Christian leader, a world-renowned Christian leader, is revealed to be living a fraudulent life? Number one, don't mistake full-headed intellectual delight in the wonders of the Christian faith for full-hearted Christian surrender to Christ. Number two, don't mistake the sentimental stirrings at the beauty of the gospel for the self-emptying, Christ-filling work of grace that God brings when he applies that gospel to any man or woman. You can get sentimental about it. Jesus, take me beyond that. Pour it into my heart. Number three, just because a person is intellectually and emotionally and willfully committed to arguing for and standing up for the truths of Christianity does not mean that they have surrendered at the foot of the cross of the Lord Jesus Christ. They may only be projecting themselves on the surface of these truths for their own sense of self-importance and aggrandizement, much like the Pharisees projected themselves upon the law of God for their own sense of self-worth. God, don't let my life just be a projection upon your truth. Project it into my heart of my being, pour it into me, transform me and change me. God, don't let me use my standing before others, adhering to these truths, delighting in these truths, expressing these truths, be a way that I somehow position myself in a superior position to others so I can feel better and good about myself. God, that is the heart of legalism and self-righteousness. And it can masquerade itself as someone who confesses their sins and says Jesus is the gospel. God, don't let me just project myself on the surface of it. Oh, God, take me into its depths. Take me into the depths of your life. Transform me. Christianity is Christ taking over all that is in me and me taking only him for my life. And when this happens, there's hope and opportunity in all of these situations to let God begin to broadcast from our lives in quiet ways. By the way, it won't gain the attention of most of the world. It's not flamboyant. It's not popular. You can't put it out on a billboard. You can't stamp your name on it. But when this happens, there's victory over sin and temptation, consistent victory over sin and temptation. And when this happens, your life becomes an unforced example of the Lord Jesus to others, a quiet example of the Lord Jesus to others. And then life prevails to the glory of God and to God's joy and satisfaction. Then from even the grave, your life will bless those who follow you.